All right,
Right,
Dima, what's up?
we're here. Playoffs start in about 20 minutes because they never start on time, those games.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're here with our NBA 2021 playoff predictions. That time again. We did the play-in tournament last time. I don't think we got them all right because we both had the Wizards, so that already went downhill.
Yeah, they
And
made it
then
out, but you know,
they made it out the trenches. Yeah, but yeah. So, today we're just gonna be talking about going through essentially a playoff tournament prediction. Or play-in playoff. God, I can't talk. Playoff tournament, and we're gonna be talking about 1 through 8 seed, 2 to 7, etc. And then we'll go all the way to the finals and see who we got winning. And we're just gonna mention in how many games they're gonna win, and just talk about some key matchups and stuff like that. Probably gonna be like a bit of a shorter episode than last time. So, yeah. Anything else to add to that?
I say we just go ahead and get into it.
All right. So we go on Eastern, guess.
Yeah, let's
Guess
go.
we
Let's
always
go
start
East
with East.
first. Yeah, let's go East
So
first.
1 through 8, we got 76ers Wizards. Pretty interesting matchup. I'm going 76ers in 5. Well, Wizards got a lot of talent. Like, a lot of talent. I mean, they have Beal and Westbrook who can either play like they did against the Celtics or they can play like they did against the Pacers, where they're just really good.
Right.
But the biggest problem I've got is 76ers just kind of match up really well against them. And I really just don't see a world where the Wizards could actually beat them in a 7-game series. If this was like a play-in tournament, I could see the Wizards taking a game and just beating them. But in a 7-game series, I think we'll just see why the 76ers are overall the better team.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like Embiid dealing with Alex Len or Robin Lopez or Gafford. It's just
Yeah.
I'm not exactly confident in any of those guys' ability to guard them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
76ers in 5.
I really like the pickup of Daniel Gafford. He's been very solid for them ever since they got him. Uh, which I do agree. Joel Embiid's probably gonna go crazy in that series. It's just gonna be tough. Bradley Beal's gonna have to play his butt off. Same with Westbrook. But I think I have the Sixers in 6, and I think that Houston, Washington can push them, but it's just not gonna be enough. And like you said, they just match up well. Ben Simmons can guard one of those two guys on the perimeter, and then no one's really gonna do much work on Embiid down low. So it's just kind of a tough series for him.
Yeah, I also don't want to see that the Westbrook Embiid beef. Maybe we'll see
Right,
some
right,
hands thrown. No, we're not. It's the
maybe.
2021. I don't. Has there been an actual fight this year? I don't think there's like any of those even quote unquote fights where they just literally eject people.
No, I don't
Anyways,
think so.
there might have been a few of those. I think there might have been a few of those, but
I just
still,
can't think of any right now.
no.
No.
Anyways, so next up we got the Nets versus the Celtics, and I'm going Nets in 5 because simply it's pretty easy. The Nets are just stacked.
Mhm.
Uh, KD, Harden, Kyrie.
Yep.
And the Celtics, I thought they would be an 8 seed anyways, but nope, here they're at the 7 seed. They're missing Jalen Brown. They do have Kemba, who did step it up.
He did. We did
Like
say he would
one of
do
the,
that.
yeah, it was
We
like,
did. We did
was
say
he gonna
that.
do that or is he not gonna do that? And he's stepped it up. And so, yeah, they got Kemba who can step it up if he can keep it playing like he did
Yeah.
against the Wizards. And of course, Jason Tatum dropping 50. Now, if that is that gonna happen every single game? No. But could that happen a game or two? Yeah.
Maybe.
So I think the Nets will win in 5, especially because Um, the Nets still do have to. They haven't played that many games together, so I could see there's just one game where they're
With
still
it. Yeah.
getting their chemistry, but they
Right.
just lose one. But overall, either 6 or 5 games, the Nets are definitely going to be advancing in the second round.
I 100% agree with this. And I could almost go 4, but I'm gonna say 5 for the exact reason that they have not played enough games together. Um, Obviously one of them can have a bad night, and you're still gonna have two other guys that could still give you 30. So, and whether that's Harden, Kyrie, it really doesn't matter. If these guys are healthy, they're gonna be scary. Um, and if they get it together, they could go the whole way. And
Yeah.
I just think 5 is the perfect number because you're right. Jason Tatum can have him a game. If Kimba plays, it all just has to go perfect though for the Celtics because if it doesn't, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Nope.
So
And I guess Evan Fournier could get sometimes just drop about a 25 or
Yeah,
something, but
yeah.
I just don't see them having a
Is
chance.
Robert Williams gonna be there or no?
I believe so.
Hmm.
Should be there.
Okay.
We'll check that information.
He left the game against the Wizards. So did
Oh,
Marcus
maybe.
Smart. So
It's probable
okay. Okay.
that Marcus Smart is nothing, so I guess he's playing. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he just
All right.
wanted to sit that game. I guess
Guess so.
after a while.
Okay, so we got Bucks Heat. Now this one's interesting because obviously we saw what happened last year. Well, the Heat beat the Bucks. So
In
this
5,
year, I
right?
don't think that's. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty sad to be honest. Um, this year I don't see that happening. I think the Bucks, despite the fact that they went from being the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, they're now a 3 seed. Uh, despite what that might show, I think they got better because I mean they're only they're only 3 games off the 76ers, but the Eastern Conference did get better this year, and I think the Bucks did as well because Drew Holiday definitely a big upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. And yeah, Giannis, I think despite somehow not getting into the top 3 MVP over Curry, I guess I mean okay, yeah, Curry deserves it, but still, I thought Giannis was definitely getting in.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, so Giannis is still a very good player, and I do think the team's improved. And I think the Heat did get worse. Well, how could the Heat get worse? They have the same team because, well, first of all, they did make a trade, of course, the Victor Oladipo trade, which initially looking like a backfire. They traded away
Yes.
MVP Kelly Olynyk, who's what is he even averaging like 25 on the Rockets?
Crazy numbers.
I don't know. But yeah, the Victor Oladipo's not going to be playing this playoff tournament. So that's basically just they traded away
Yeah.
those guys. Um, Duncan Robinson is doing not better than or worse than last year, I would say.
Hmm.
And Tyler Hero, not quite the same. And of course, they are a 6 seed this year, and I just think they have gotten a bit worse. And so I'm gonna say Bucks in 6, but I do have the Bucks actually winning and getting out of the first round this year. If they don't, they gotta Coach Bud. Sorry, gotta go. Just gotta try
Yeah.
something else next
Yeah.
year.
They do.
The team's got the talent to go definitely further than the first round.
Yes. Yeah. I also have the Bucks. I got them in 7. I think this will be probably one of the best series we're gonna see in the first round. I mean, I think Giannis just knows that he can't have this happen again to him, where he's just gonna get dominated in a game. Um, so and also you're right. The Heat have not. They have not been very well. Jimmy Butler's missed 20 games this year, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what that would make them if you add them to those 20 games. I mean, they'd probably be over 500, but I think Drew Holiday is just going to be a big part in that. And where Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson are going to have a tough time dealing with him. Um, and then hopefully, I don't know who they're going to put on Jimmy. Um, Probably
Giannis is
maybe Giannis or Chris, I guess. But
so it also do a good job.
yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. But also, Brooke Lopez is going to have to shoot the 3 well.
Oh yeah,
In that
splash pad.
series, because I'm pretty sure he did terrible in that series against the Heat last year.
Yep.
And as we say every podcast, they were in the bubble, so who knows? Maybe they had something going on and they just weren't feeling it in the bubble. So yeah, I got Bucks in 7.
Bam Adebayo, I think he'll be a bit upset because I'm not exactly sure how he did not get top 3. Okay, Draymond, yeah, Draymond is a great defender, but is he a top 3 defensive player of the year
Yeah.
in it?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I think Bam should have got in. I think Bam is going to be playing with a lot of aggression, especially coming out of the gate, and so I look to him, look for him to have a big game tonight. I'm calling it like a really good performance. Not tonight. It's literally in 2 minutes. So, yeah. I think he's gonna pop off today. So next up, we got my favorite series from the East is Knicks Hawks because I'm really happy this occurred because that means one of these teams is gonna be a second round team.
Yeah.
Which team is that? I got the Knicks. I'm going Knicks in 7. I'm a believer that defense does indeed prevail over offense eventually because usually defense can always be consistent. It's easier to be more consistent on defense than it is to consistently be at fantastic offensive team, and so I do think the Knicks will just get the advantage over the Hawks. The Hawks with Trae Young, of course, Trae Young is to the line a lot. Yes, I get you. He gets to the line a lot, and so I think it will be interesting to see how many calls he gets in the playoffs. And so, will he get the same amount of calls he gets in the regular season? Probably not, because they let them play more. So, can he continue putting up the same scoring numbers that he did before? And then Clint Capella, of course, fantastic defender, has some playoff experience. I think he'll be as good. And the Hawks are a very young team, so we'll see what they can do. And Nate McMillan, of course, kind of been disappointing in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
that's why I got the Knicks in 7. I think it'll be
Okay.
close. Though.
We got a difference here. We were 3-1 on each other, so I got to go Hawks in 6.
Yeah.
I think Trae Young's just gonna have a good performance. By no means will I be mad if I'm wrong about this one. I would be happy if I was wrong almost. Um, I just think that their front court with Collins and Capella will just be tough to deal with. Because also that back court too. I don't know. I think Trae Young it just has the capability of going off in that series. And if Clint Capella can get the boards down low, they're a scary team. I feel like second round exit team, I will say. But yeah, I just think they just got back DeAndre Hunter. He played a good couple games for him, and I think he'll be a big part of why. I think they might put him on Julius Randle, maybe, but he might be too small. I don't know. Maybe John Collins will play on him, but um, I don't know. I just think the Hawks are got it in 6.
Yeah, this one's probably the toughest one to call for sure.
Yeah.
Offense versus defense can be a very interesting matchup.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, the Hawks do have some great defenders, like you
Yeah.
said, DeAndre Hunter. So, but yeah, the Knicks they do have a more experience. Tom Thibodeau's been really good, and the Hawks are probably more talented, I would say for sure. But yeah, I don't know. But definitely, as you said, whichever team does win will not get past the 76ers. So
You just want to go ahead and do the East?
yeah, let's just finish
Okay.
up these. So,
Let's do that.
well, for me, I got 76ers Knicks, but I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 76ers in
Yep.
6.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, this one, the Knicks definitely match up better than the Wizards do because Nerlens Noel, not the best. Is not going to put up a lot of points, but what he will do is defend Joel Embiid well. So, yeah, while he might drop 2 points, he's going to get some blocks and steals. That's what he always does. And he's going to prevent Joel Embiid, hopefully, from going on a tear. That's what they need for Nerlens to do. Julius Randle against Tobias will be a fun one there. But I think Ben Simmons has a great advantage in this matchup because there's no one really on the Knicks that I see defending Ben Simmons too well. Because I mean, yeah, Nerlens always going to have to put in some serious work because he's got Ben Simmons driving to the paint. He's going to have to deal with Embiid. Well, because Alfred Payne, or although they did say, I think I saw something where they're going to play Frank because he's a great defender. So Frank could definitely put some work in on Ben Simmons if he does play.
I mean, you
So we'll
might as
see
well
what
throw him
happens.
out there. I don't see why not.
Yeah. No, I think they will just for matchup reasons.
Yeah.
Even though Frank, besides defending, isn't very good. But yeah,
Yeah. You
I
know,
got
I,
the Sixers.
I have the Hawks in this series, obviously, instead of the Knicks, but I don't see it much different. How the Hawks, they just don't match. They match up kind of, but who's gonna guard Simmons on there? I mean, DeAndre Hunter can give him a little bit of work, but after that, I don't know who's gonna guard Ben Simmons, which also leaves Tobias Harris. I think he'd be an awkward guy for them to guard. Um, Joel Embiid would have a little bit of a tough time with Clint Capella. Obviously, those are two guys who get boards. So, but I'd still take the Sixers in 5 or 6 games, and yeah, that's what I got there.
So this one is actually tough. Nets Bucks. Now you might like initially I didn't think it would be this difficult to call, but as was that 2 weeks ago now? Yeah, it must have been 2 weeks ago. The back-to-back headers, Nets Bucks won both games,
Yeah,
and
and Giannis went
although
off.
Giannis did go off,
Yeah.
all because the Nets just can't defend. Okay, I mean the Nets did not have James Harden, so who
Yeah.
knows They were both close games. So if James Harden was there, would they? What would they have won? Possibly. So I guess we'll find out shortly. Well, I don't know, in like 2 weeks again. But yeah. Anyways, so Nets Bucks is a very interesting matchup because the Nets' individual talent is definitely better than the Bucks, but the Bucks can play defense. The Nets cannot. Um, so who's gonna stop KD on Giannis will be a fantastic matchup. By the way,
Right.
did not disappoint whenever those two games were happening, and whenever I was watching them, it just felt like a playoff
It did.
matchup there. So really excited to see this. But I'm going Nets in 6 because I just do think the individual talent of the Nets is pretty unstoppable. It might be stoppable some nights, but can you stop them for 7 games?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. Especially with their experience. I
Yeah.
mean, they've Kyrie's won a championship. KD's won a championship. Harden's been to the finals, conference finals. Giannis has been to the conference finals, and so's Chris. But Bledsoe, or not Bledsoe, Holiday, he's been
Some playoff experience.
playoff a little bit, but I'm trying to think if he even made it to the second round. I don't remember. It seems like
Maybe for
one
the
year they
76ers.
Yeah, it seems like one year they did, and with him on it. But regardless of it, you're right. They no Harden in those 2 games they played. I think Harden
Yep.
changes the whole game because, like we've been saying, he can only give you 10 points, but he's probably gonna give you a good amount of assist. And so I think Drew Holiday could play pretty good defense. Do his best that he can. But then again, you got Kyrie Irving in the backcourt. So. I really don't want to. I got to go Nets in 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next we got the good old matchup in the finals. Or I'm sorry, the conference finals. I'm getting
good.
ahead of myself.
All
So
good.
Nets 76ers. This one's something right here. Do I trust the well-oiled machine of the 76ers? Do I trust the process, or do I trust the individual talent of the Nets, and perhaps the team not being coached as well? Steve Nash first year on the job. I think I trust the Nets in 7. Yeah, just again, it's always coming down to the 3 MVP level players on your team. Which, yeah, I do think Kyrie's just had his best season, except the fact that he's missed some games, but still,
Yeah.
50, 40, 90 club.
He doesn't
And
talk about it enough.
no, it's just been a fantastic season for
Yeah.
him. And James Harden and Kevin Durant is just, well, if they all stay healthy, which that is one thing that I haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah.
Perhaps one of those guys gets injured, which is possible because they've had some of those questions.
Yeah.
But I've just got the Nets beating the 76ers in 7, and I think they'll be going to the finals.
Yeah. Same with the Sixers though. They gotta stay healthy too. Joel Embiid obviously missed a lot of games this year. Ben Simmons has missed his whole first year, and he missed some other time. I know Tobias will play because it seems like he's always playing, but like you said, Nets got to stay healthy. Everyone's got to stay healthy if they're gonna want to win this series. Especially KD, because KD is gonna have to be a part in like dealing with Joel Embiid at times, and so that's the only reason that I also have this series going to 6 or 7 games is because of Joel Embiid, because of him being so big, and there's not DeAndre Jordan is not DeAndre Jordan on the Clippers. So I think honestly, dude, Jared Allen. If there was a way they could have kept Jared Allen, that that team, man, I'm telling you, it would have been tough. Obviously, I think giving away Karras and Jarrett is probably, if they don't win a championship in this whole time, it's definitely not going to be worth it. Because you're giving away a lot. But yeah, I just got to go Nets in 7. Too much experience. But it all comes down to being healthy. That's what it comes down to.
Low-key, the Nets do have the talent to beat anyone in 4, but I just don't think it's happening.
That's true. I just think it's
I
tough to
don't know.
beat
We'll see.
someone in
I
4.
just can't wait to watch these teams.
Yeah.
Has the Heat game started yet? No, it hasn't. Of course, it hasn't. Yeah. Celtics Nets at 7. Which is really interesting. see what happens. So yeah, that's our East. Of course, keep that in mind. That Nets to the finals. So first up, we got surprise to the most people. We have Jazz Grizzlies, not Jazz Warriors,
Very surprising.
which it's pretty funny to see the Warriors fans were complaining. Of course, they're complaining about the. This is what I don't understand about some fan bases where whenever LeBron James said, "Oh, this is the worst idea ever," the play-in tournament, the Warriors fans are like, "Oh, shut up."
And now,
And then yesterday, the Warriors lose to the Grizzlies. Like, well, the ninth seed just missed the playoffs. Which I mean, yeah, I can understand why you don't like the play-in tournament, but this year, for a situation like that where the Grizzlies were 38 and 34, while the Warriors are 39 and 33,
hmm yeah,
and the 10 games that would have been added in a normal season, easily could see the Grizzlies beating them
yeah,
or the Warriors. But still, anyways, Jazz Grizzlies, probably. I just feel like it'll be the most boring series to watch, which
hmm
I'm still gonna be watching it, but
right.
it's just probably gonna be a slower tempo and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna go. There's always a sweep, isn't there? I'm going Jazz in 4. I don't know. I just going this one for the sweep. Not the Grizzlies are really good with Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant, special player, of course. Jonas Valanciunas, uh, 2020 machine. Okay, I whatever. Screw the sweep that always happens. No, we're going Jazz in 5. I don't see the Grizzlies getting swept. They're just a really nice team. But yeah, the Jazz, the surprise of the season is some people. They are a surprise, but not as surprising as like the Knicks for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But yeah, they're really good. 52 and 20, of course. They're incredible at home. They're 31 and 5, so I don't see them losing. And so I think they're gonna go up 2-0. And if the Grizzlies do win any games, they'll be on the road, where the Grizzlies are actually pretty good. They're 20 and 16 on the road, so I can see them taking one there. But yeah, I just think the Jazz are overall better than the Grizzlies. They've got way more experience. Even though Donovan Mitchell is young, he's got playoff experience, while the Grizzlies are just a very young team. I don't see them pulling off any more quote unquote shockers.
Grizzlies don't have that much experience either. At
Yeah, they don't really have any.
that
Giannis, of course, has some playoff experience.
Jonas, and then whatever. I also see it like this. If Jaw plays like he played last night and he's hitting threes, he's gonna be very scary to deal with for the Jazz. Um, the most I can see this series going is 6. Do I see it going there? No, I think it goes 5. I think Jaw can push them there one game, and then I'm just like you. It's just not really a series I'm looking forward to as much as the others. It's
Yeah,
just I don't really see Rudy Gobert getting like absolutely stopped, down low, and I don't see Jonas getting stopped down low, and I feel like it's just gonna be a battle of that. And I don't know. Hopefully Donovan Mitchell is playing good. I'd like to see him play good, and I don't want them to get slandered on
play
for
at all.
last year.
Is he playing? What's the new items?
I don't even know what his. You tell me.
Oh, there's like they were questionable at some point, and he is going to be reevaluated in 1 week, which is May 7th. So it's been almost 2 weeks. So yeah, that's not
So
for the all.
we'll see.
But yeah, hopefully he is playing, and hopefully, and even if he's not playing, I think they'll still beat them. Might be in 6th.
Yeah.
Anyways, now this is the one I'm really looking forward to seeing. We got Suns Lakers, and I know a lot of people don't trust the Suns, which yeah, I can see good reason for that because when you have a 7 seed like the Lakers, it's pretty tough. You know, I legitimately don't know. Now my heart wants me to just go Suns. Just go. I want the Suns to go
I
farther
want a
than the
Suns
Lakers.
sweep.
I want a Suns. Yeah, Suns in 4, easy. No. You know, I'm gonna give faith in the Suns. Here's why. I'm gonna say Suns in 7. Now the Lakers, I think the Suns just have a good matchup. So you got Chris Paul, definitely a better player than Schroeder, at like 2 tiers up. Then you've got Devin Booker on KCP, which that's 2 tiers up. Then LeBron and now we saw LeBron and Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is a good defender, and he was giving LeBron some tough time because he was struggling with that front court of Draymond and Wiggins. And I think the Suns have another really good defensive. You got Mikal Bridges, who's probably better than Wiggins at defending. And then Jay Crowder, by no means is Draymond Green, but he's still a pretty decent defender.
Yeah.
And so I think the Suns front court could definitely give LeBron some trouble. Anthony Davis could definitely put in some work on Jay Crowder because he's kind of undersized. But yeah, and then Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond sucks. I mean, he gets stats, but he's just going to be a liability. There's a reason he just gets waived. I really don't trust the Lakers center rotation. They're both big defensive liabilities. It's like Montrezl Harrell can score, but he can be a big liability depending on some matchups. And DeAndre Ayton is a great. First of all, some people think he didn't improve at all, which I disagree. He's just gone from being second to third choice. So DeAndre Ayton is a very good player, and I think he's going to give the Lakers some trouble. And so then the bench, um, Cameron Payne, which is first of all, he's not in the top 3 for most improved, which yeah, it's fine, but he's definitely one of the most improved players because he's pretty much essentially gone from being a no one to being a really good backup point guard on a contender. So shout out to Cameron Payne, but yeah, just the Suns bench and the Lakers bench are about equal. They're not great. So I think the Suns are going to win in 7 because I just trust them. But I might regret this saying later. We'll see.
I'm right with you, man. We gotta have we have to have Suns in the faith in the Suns. And the reason why is Chris Paul he's just so good.
Yeah.
When watching him last year in that Houston series, we might not have won, but I think this Suns team is better than. Well, I don't want to say that.
They are.
They are probably better. On paper, I don't know what would happen if we went 7. I don't know. Because who knows? Maybe Lou Dort would clamp D-Book. Who knows?
Oh, of course you would. No doubt about it.
But I'm hoping that we just see an all-out, just 4-3 win. I would love if the Suns swept them. I think that'd be hilarious. That would be so funny because Lakers fans they'd be like, oh, and
Yep.
and they they'd go off and they'd be like, we have the most championship. I just think DeAndre Ayton's a bad matchup for him. And like you said, Chris Paul, he's a very tough player to guard, and he can find everybody. I mean, Cameron Johnson, he's also stepped it up in recent recent times. Same with Mikal Bridges, who at the end of the season was playing really, really good. So I think they're gonna be a tough. They're long. I think they're really good. I think they're good defenders. When it comes down to that too. So. Suns in 6, man. Let me take it. Suns in 6.
Really, Suns in anything, I'll take it.
Yeah. Suns in 2.
I was gonna say something about what was I gonna say? Oh, but yeah, the Suns, they would not have. They're a 50 win team. Got to put some respect on them.
We do. Yeah, we do.
70 game season, and they got 50 wins. But yeah, Chris Paul though sometimes. Of course, last year was fantastic, but he's got the reputation of not being a great playoff performer, so we'll see what he does this year.
We'll have to see.
But yeah, and then, of course, you got on the other end of the spectrum, you've got LeBron James, who's known to be probably the best playoff performer in the league, so that's the other thing. Lakers, but LeBron and AD, are they 100% or are they not 100%? We'll see. Anyways, fantastic match.
What about LeBron doing the whole protocol thing?
Oh yeah, not getting
suspended.
Is it truly something that's not worth suspended? But I don't know. They didn't say what Karis LeVert did. They're just like, yep, he's getting suspended. Anyways.
I'm not mad that he's not getting suspended, but I'm just kind of mad because it's like
kind of sus.
You can't suspend him, but you can suspend others. Whatever. Let's just get on with it.
Score update: Heat 3-0 Bucks.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyways. My first and only upset, Nuggets, Trailblazers. I'm going Trailblazers in 6 because the Trailblazers coming into the playoffs picked up the slack. They were very good, pushed themselves out of the play-in tournament into a 6 seed. And, it's hard to... The Nuggets got the MVP, but they're missing their second best player, Jamal Murray. They were still very good without him, but I think that huge miss. It shows up more in the playoffs than it does in the regular season. And yeah, Damian Lillard again. Faku is a good defender, and so I think he's definitely gonna be a solid defender against Dame. But Dame and CJ, it's gonna be interesting to see. Is it gonna be playoff time Dame, the one that's like known for being good, like the one that showed up against OKC and Houston, or is it gonna be the other one that shows up most of the time? I don't know, but I think the Trailblazers are gonna pull off the upset in this one, which I really hope they don't. But from a perspective where I gotta pick, I'm going with the Trailblazers because I just think the Nuggets without Jamal Murray is a big miss, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Michael Porter Jr. picked it up in the regular season. He stepped up for sure. Is he gonna step up in the playoffs where we got the nerves for a young guy? I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
In this series, I have to go Nuggets in 6, and I think it all relies on CJ McCollum for the Trailblazers. It depends on how he plays because he's had some series where man he's been amazing. Like when they beat the Nuggets a couple years ago, he was
Yeah.
great in that series. But he's also had series where it's like, who is this guy? And I just see that happening in this series, and I just don't see CJ McCollum picking it up. Now I do think this is gonna be wrong. I do think the Trailblazers are gonna win probably, but I really want the Nuggets to win. I think Jokic will be a very hard matchup for Nurkic. I mean, Jokic is just he's so good he's like Chris Paul in the paint, you know? He can just find guys, and I don't even know how. You just gotta love the man. You do.
Everyone, no, there's no way anyone could hate Jokic.
Yeah.
He's just a funny guy.
I mean, he really is. He's a funny guy. I feel like he's just ironically funny though. Like he's just, you know.
No
But
homo.
I think it's just gonna be tough for him. It's gonna be a tough day for Nurkic down low in the paint, and then creating space, and then for the Nuggets, it is Michael Porter Jr. He played pretty good in the playoffs, in that Clippers and Jazz series, but he's gonna have to do that as the second option now, and not the third option. So we'll just have to see from there.
Yep. Looking forward to this one as well. Score update: Duncan Robinson is going for playoff MVP. He's got 9 points, all 9 points for the Heat.
Wow.
Just picked it up. Anyways, next we got Clippers Mavericks 2.0. This one is another very interesting one. So obviously it would be really funny if the Mavericks beat the Clippers because the Clippers, let's be honest, they really intentionally threw to play the Mavericks in the first round. It wasn't very obvious, or I mean it was very obvious because literally they lost to the Rockets and the Thunder by rotating heavily, and so I do believe the Clippers are underrated. Um, and I've got the Clippers winning in 6. This is going to come down to because last playoff series it looked like it was going to be Mavericks winning until Kristaps went down, and then the Clippers ended up going. And also the Clippers last year, Montrezl Harrell was pretty good for them in that playoff series. This time he's not there. They don't have those 2 6 men off the bench to provide the spark. Serge Ibaka's back now, but I don't know if he's going to play 100% yet. So
He played against the Thunder the other night.
yeah, he's back, but I don't know.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, got to get back into the swing of things.
Right.
So I do have the Clippers beating the Mavericks in this first matchup. It's going to come down to Porzingis for the Mavericks to have any chance. Luka Doncic, of course, is amazing.
Yeah.
But I just think the fact that the Clippers had the more talented team, and I think Paul George has got a lot to prove. So
Yep.
that means he's either going to be amazing or he's just going to be terrible again.
That
brush.
that was my other guy. Kristaps is 100% it. He was their leading scorer, and one of the I think game 3. I think he had like 33 or something like that. He was bigger than Luka in that game, and he cannot be getting hurt. He's on a max contract. A max player doesn't get hurt like that. And Paul George. I mean, who's gonna show up? We getting pandemic P or playoff P? What are we getting? What did he say? Like, oh, he said something we're gonna get this season. He said something.
Oh, I don't remember. I know last year he said he couldn't see the trainers, so that kind of threw him
Yeah.
off or something. But yeah.
But this season he said we're gonna see something, but whatever that is.
Yes, we'll see something. Yeah. That is true. We'll see something. So
we will see something. But This one is a coin toss.
This one's exciting.
I'm gonna go Mavericks in 7.
Oh, the upset.
I am gonna take the upset. That's just how I'm feeling.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm not a fan of the LA teams personally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact that they're in LA. It's just really easy to get free agents and stuff. But anyways, yeah, Clippers Mavericks, definitely one of the top series. I think that's the second game today, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good one. So second round. So for me it would be Jazz Clippers, and so I I'm going Clippers again. Yeah, the Jazz are a 50-win team, but I think the Clippers would also be a 50-win team because if they stayed more healthy, which is another key aspect of the Clippers. Will they stay healthy? That's one thing where whenever we're predicting playoffs, that's one thing you can't ever predict is injuries because you don't want to predict injuries because they suck. I want to see everyone healthy, but yeah, I've got the Clippers beating the Jazz in 6. I just do think I'm a big fan of the Clippers this year, and so um, yeah, the Jazz a really good team, but especially if Donovan Mitchell is not back for the first round, he's only back against the Clippers. That gives the Clippers a huge chance to beat them while he's getting into the groove of things. Donovan is, or if he's just not back at all, then that's automatically getting the Clippers. So, but yeah, Kawhi and PG, just Rudy Gobert's a perimeter defense is not as bad as some people think, but he's definitely more of an interior, and the Clippers don't exactly focus on the interior quite as much. Some teams do, so they're gonna really test the perimeter defense of the Jazz, which is still pretty good. But yeah, I got the Clippers there.
So obviously my series would be the Jazz and the Mavericks. So you got to think about KP and Rudy, but then I think the Jazz match up really tough with them because you got I just think their guys click more than the Mavericks do. Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway Jr. I feel like is a weird mix. They're not bad, but they're just kind of a weird mix a little bit. But then again, Tim Hardaway Jr. can go off at some nights, and this is the playoffs though, so we'll have to see that. But I think I'd have to take the Jazz in 6. I just think they have too much firepower and their defense is pretty darn good. I think Luka would have a tough time in this series. He could get to the free throw line a lot. I could see that happening, but I just think the Jazz have too much.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Mavericks to beat the Clippers, I would have the Jazz going as well.
Yeah.
So that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so next we got for me, it's Suns versus. You're so tired already. Suns versus Trailblazers. There we go.
Yeah.
Brain fart. Suns Trailblazers. I do have Suns beating them. This will be a very nice matchup because I think their teams in the positions are relatively even, and they've got like similar types of guys. No, well, not really, but Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, really fun one there. CJ McCollum against Devin Booker's another good one. Got 2 defensive guys. Well, both of them are. You got like Derrick Jones Jr., Jay Crowder, then Covington and Mikal Bridges is a fun one, and then Ayton versus Nurkic. So yeah, if that was the matchup, I've got Suns in 6. The Trailblazers just really can't defend, so that's why I don't think them. Yeah. Trailblazers will get anywhere further than the second round, or I don't even know if they're getting out the first round, but I got them doing that. So yeah, I've got the Suns winning.
I mean, I have the Nuggets in this series. I think the Trailblazers are gonna win first round, but I'm gonna pray and hope that the Nuggets win. But no matter what, I don't either of those teams if they play the Suns. You're right. The Suns are just they just have something that other teams don't, and that's just great perimeter 3-and-D players, and that's what I feel like Cam Johnson and Mikal are. And that's what you kind of want around Chris Paul. Is a bunch of shooters because he's going to be able to find them. And then when you have a center like Ayton, if those shooters are out there spacing the floor and they have a one-on-one with Ayton, it's going to be tough to stop them, especially for Nurkic. Nurkic or Jokic, I feel like. Ayton's just a big guy. But yes, I think it'll be Jokic. I keep on just going to both. I don't know why. Nuggets. Suns in 7, though. That's what I feel.
Yeah, no, I think the Suns will be seeing themselves into the conference finals. I agree. But yeah, then for the conference finals, we got for me it's Suns Clippers. So um, ooh, it's another tough one to call. I believe in the Clippers this year. This is something I'm
I'd
gonna
take them
regret
there.
later.
I'd take them there.
Once they're a first round exit, I'm going Clippers, and I'm saying Clippers in 6. Um, yeah, I just think Kawhi Leonard on the Raptors, that team was worse than this current Clippers team, and they were very good into the current finals, or they got into the finals, of course, won the finals, which some people that's debatable if the Warriors would have beat them if they were healthy. But anyways, I don't really care because go Raptors
Uh,
there. Clippers, yeah, going to the finals, and I'll just since we're already here, Clippers Nets in the finals, be a really good series. Lots of really good series this year, and let's be honest, last year's finals wasn't the best, so I think this year, whatever the finals is, will be better for sure. And I've got Nets beating them
Yeah.
in the finals,
Yeah.
and so I just can't go against the three-headed monster of Nets.
Yeah.
I cannot speak anymore.
Yeah. It's all good. I would take the Clippers in that series too.
Yeah.
So I have Jazz and Suns, and that's when I would probably take the Jazz because I think that would be Aiton's scariest matchup. I feel like he wouldn't be as useful in that series against Rudy Gobert, who is a top candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Donovan Mitchell's a pretty good perimeter defender, so he could play good on Devin Booker. I think Chris Paul and Mike Conley, that'd be kind of good. But then the one guy left out, I feel like, is Bogdanovich. And I feel like that is a kind of a big piece of how that series would go in terms of how Cam Johnson would play on him. I don't know how that would go, but I think in this series I'd have to take Jazz in 6. I think they have more experience. Obviously, Chris Paul has a lot, but overall, I think the Jazzes have too much, and then I'd have them losing to the Nets, and that's it.
That's just too good on paper. But yeah, so that's it for us because we're trying to go watch the basketball at least.
That's right. We're trying to watch some
my eyes
basketball.
But yeah, 13-10 Heat currently. Not
Okay.
the highest scoring game. Looks like pretty typical start where teams are still like a bit nervous, so they're missing shots. So I haven't watched a minute of it, but yeah. So yeah, enjoy the playoffs, everyone, and then we'll try to upload something on next weekend. Probably just to analyze the
Yeah.
first round matchups that went down.
Yep.
See
Maybe go
what's
back and see
happening.
how we did.
Yeah. Every single time I